and that's why I love doing these. There's so much stuff that we talk about kind of behind the scenes or in
Hmm.
preparation for client calls, and there's conversations that I have. And so I love just having this vessel to get that stuff out there.
Totally.
Because the truth is we know that the people that listen to this, it's at some point this is coming.
Yeah.
These will be issues for you. You can't really avoid them if you're a Salesforce customer. It's just all about how to prepare for them. So
Welcome to Insights for IT Negotiations, a podcast by UpperEdge, a leading IT sourcing, negotiation, and project execution advisory firm. I'm John Belden, UpperEdge's Chief Research and Strategy Officer.
And I'm Kylie Chisholm, UpperEdge's Marketing Manager. Join us every other week as we share insights to help you maximize the value of your key IT relationships. In each episode, we'll delve into the topics that matter most to IT decision makers and sourcing professionals. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Insights for IT Negotiations. I am joined once again by Adam Mansfield. He is our Salesforce Advisory Services Practice Leader. Adam, how are you doing today?
doing great. July 2nd.
Yep. Yeah. We have a long weekend on the horizon.
We have a long weekend. It was a long push to the finish line on a lot of Microsoft deals.
Hmm.
I run that practice, and
Yes.
that was fun. So here
Yeah.
we are. We're in July. The summer's upon us. We're in another heat wave.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Perpetual heat wave in tropical Boston,
I
Massachusetts.
know humidity is killing me.
Killer. But to your point, you make an excellent point. Adam runs our Salesforce, our Microsoft, and our ServiceNow advisory. But today is all about Salesforce. So we're tapping into that side of the brain. We've seen a lot of changes involving pricing, involving AgentForce, involving Slack. We've created some content around it already, but you and I wanted to get on the line and really dive deep into what we're seeing and what we may see in the
Hmm.
coming months.
Yep. Yeah. No. I mean, listen. It's like anything else. And that's why I love doing these. There's so much stuff that we talk about kind of behind the scenes or in
Hmm.
preparation for client calls, and there's conversations that I have. And so I love just having this vessel to get that stuff out there.
Totally.
Because the truth is we know that the people that listen to this, it's at some point this is coming.
Yeah.
These will be issues for you. You can't really avoid them if you're a Salesforce customer. It's just all about how to prepare for them. So.
So let's dive right in. We're going to start with the pricing changes
Hmm.
first. So
Hmm.
talk a little bit about what pricing is changing, by
Yeah.
how much is it changing, and then why do you think Salesforce is doing this?
Yeah, no, it's a great one to start with because it's the one that I probably have seen the most visceral reactions to, which
Sure.
it's real simple, right? So 6% increase on average to their list price.
Hmm.
It's going to take effect August 1st. It's going to hit sales, service, field service, and the industry cloud solution, so their core.
Yeah.
Like anything else, I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing other areas as well.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, if you're a customer and you have renewal protections, things like that, maybe you're covered. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of people have protections that have conditions in it.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, your cap is gone. And then at a bare minimum, you got a 6% uplift. So a lot of
Yeah.
it is all about how do I find ways to make more revenue or grow the ACV with my customer base, right? That's
Yeah.
one of them. And they're a publicly traded company. I get it. They have single digit growth right now.
Hmm.
They got to find ways. Okay. But here's the thing, they're pointing to, as they always do, the reason is because of all the enhancements and the updates that we've made since the last time we had a price increase, which, okay, might be true if you look at it as black and white, but there's a lot of
Hmm.
customers out there that aren't seeing that added value. And we'll talk a lot more about that in a few minutes, but that's what it's coming down to. They try to substantiate it with value, but really it's about growing the ACV.
Hmm.
Um, the other thing I would tell you is that this is the oldest trick in the book as well. If you lower, if you add or have enhanced additions of products, which
Hmm.
AgentForce, we're going to talk about that in a minute, and you keep that price at a certain point, but you raise the pricing on the lower tiered editions, which are getting hit with a 6% uplift, it closes the gap artificially
Mm-hmm.
on the cost profile. So then vendors like Salesforce be like, oh, it's not that much more. And look at all this value.
Yeah.
It doesn't land well, okay? Because number one, that's assuming customers are going to have that as a comparison, like as if they're already interested in those new things to
Yeah.
go more robust. Two, there's a lot of customers that are sitting there going, yeah, hold on a second. You're hitting me with a 6% price uplift, and you don't have any justification other than marketing material, which doesn't apply to me because I just showed you a report that says I'm not even using half the stuff I've been paying for, and
Yeah.
I'm already spending too much money. So like it doesn't land well,
Totally.
and it's not landing well.
Definitely. And I think that's a huge portion of this is that customer reaction. They're seeing this and they're going, what the hell is this? Why is this happening? This makes no sense. And to your point, it's that visceral response to it all.
What I will tell you is, and I know a lot of them listen to these and they check in on this stuff, which kudos, appreciate the support. You know, a lot of the conversations that I have, right, catching up with clients, like it's the same thing. Hey,
Yeah.
Adam, pleasantries, whatever, how the kid, all that good stuff. Then it transitions to what is Salesforce doing? Like they're gonna hit what is going on? And I have to almost put my therapist hat on and tell them to calm down and like
Yeah.
we'll be able to handle it and blah blah blah. But it's as if they think that these clients, these customers who are humans, can't see through the crap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they see what's going on. They're not stupid. So it's not procurement people either. Like, obviously, they're focused there. I'm talking like the people who have these executive relationships that have spoken at the conferences for them, that done the references calls, that sit in these rooms, and then they have to look at it and go, what? Like, this is tactical.
Yeah.
It just does not land well.
And then, so we've talked a little bit about what those price changes are, how people are reacting to it, but what should customers do about these changes?
Yeah, I mean, look, I know we're going to talk about AgentForce in a second here, but and I'll tie some of those together in a second. But on this specific issue, I always it's tried and true, right? I think one, let's take a step back, acknowledge, let's just all put our cards on the table. We know why you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's just come on. If I'm to agree with you and I want to be a partner with you, Salesforce, and say, okay, look, you have added some things. Great. But I need you, Salesforce, before you even have the audacity to put at a minimum a 6% uplift because your list price is going up 6%, before you do that, I'd like you to show me granularly everything that I'm using within Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Field Service, Industry, whatever it may be. Show me.
Yeah.
Don't just come to me like, oh, well, we uplifted it because there's added value. No. Again, maybe. Show me for me, my company.
Yeah.
Force them to do that. Get ahead of it. So customers that have renewals January or sometime next year, right, post-August, I would pick the phone up right now. Listen, before you even start thinking about applying this, including this 9 months from now, 6 months from now, whatever it may be, before you do that, and especially if you're going to ask me to attend Dreamforce and speak on stage, I would like you to pull together a utilization sheet at a granular level. Show me.
Yeah.
And then for customers, I would also recommend doing your own work on that, right? Like, here's their truth, which they're not going to want to present, and then have your own as well. To me, that's the key to this. Now, some customers and some of our competitors out there are like, well, pull in your deal early ahead of August. Like, I don't know. Like, if that's what you're resorting to, I think you probably are doing yourself a disservice because the truth of the matter is if that's how you want to create leverage, it's usually other ways to do it that are better and more timely to your needs.
Yeah.
But again, sometimes it lines up. Sometimes you actually need something new or there are negotiations. Fine, obviously. But I definitely would not be doing that as a course of action. Like, oh, we'll do everything in July.
Yeah.
By the way, end of July happens to be their Q2 close.
Okay.
So, again, if maybe that makes sense for other reasons, there's some leverage there. But just to say, oh, I got ahead of it before August 1st, like, to me, that's tactical. You need to have a different type of relationship in place.
Yeah, and that's something that we emphasize a lot here at UpperEdge is you need to look at the immediate problem, but also do some future forecasting of what is the domino effect, what is the trickle down effect of the choices that you make now. You want to maintain strong leverage the entire relationship.
100%. 100%.
So let's get into AgentForce, the sort of hot topic item right now. So as part of the announcement, Salesforce also introduced new AgentForce plans. So what are they, and did Salesforce make some sort of AgentForce changes in May as well? And how are these changes connected? How are they different? All of that.
Yeah, so it's a good, this is it. I mean, this is the hot topic. I mean, you got Elon Musk chiming in on whether or not they should rename their company AgentForce. I mean, which is kind of funny. But what I would say is, while he's taking a break from talking about Doge and Trump, he's talking about Salesforce, which is interesting. But I digress. So on AgentForce, everyone at this point who's listening understands, right? Agentic AI, it's where everyone's focused. Having some difficulty getting traction. It hasn't been a long period of time since they introduced AgentForce, but since then, even in May, they kind of listened to the base and said, hey, look, I know you don't like the per conversation model. And maybe we had something to do with that, Kylie. I know we've had a lot of conversations about that, but $2 per conversation, I don't really like that. It seems expensive. What's a conversation? That doesn't really work for me. So then they said in May, okay, we're listening. Now it's based on actions. So essentially it works out to be about 10 cents an action, although you have to buy a certain minimum. They did that in May. A little bit better because maybe I can understand what an action is because it's got a result tied to it, but I'm still, I don't know, this flywheel effect, consumption-based, which we've spent a lot of time talking about. I think they listened and they said, hey, don't worry about it. Fast forward June. So now they have an add-on. So it's kind of, think of it as you still have your Sales Cloud Unlimited Edition. You want AgentForce, so you add on an AgentForce add-on, right? So you get access to AgentForce, right, under an unlimited model. It's a head count, but the head count has a number of actions within it that you can use, okay? Then they said, what you should consider is you should be upgrading to AgentForce 1 edition, which was formerly the Unlimited Plus edition, which was then Einstein 1 edition. Essentially $550 per user per month, and you get all this. And all of this is unlimited agents. You get some data cloud. You get some swap rights. You get some Slack Enterprise, which is also a new edition that they said. So you get all this stuff for $550. Again, there is still a consumption based in there because at some point you may need more, although they say it's unlimited. But the bigger thing, if you go all the way back to what I just said, 6% price uplift is happening at the same time on the unlimited edition. So they're closing the gap. So they listened to a certain extent. Okay, so I want to give them credit for that.
Yeah.
Conversations, you can still do it that way. Actions, you can do it this way. You have an add-on model, but then you have the more robust edition. I just think, for me, again, I don't want to. I do want to acknowledge the listening component to this.
Totally.
But what I will tell you is that there's still problems with all of it. And so if you don't negotiate the right foundational definitions, what's an action, what's a conversation, if you don't understand what's in your bundle, if you don't need everything in that bundle, what happens if you don't actually use everything in that bundle, and then it comes time to renew? Can you go back a tier? Probably not. And if you do, price uplift. So there's a lot of problems that still need to be addressed. But again, I do want to at least acknowledge there is some clear listening that they're doing.
Did you know that UpperEdge offers subscription advisory services? This on-demand solution provides essential benchmarks and market insights specific to your business needs precisely when you need it, empowering you and your team to make informed decisions for your IT initiatives. Position your team for success. Reach out today via the link in the show notes to learn more.
And then I do want to double tap a little bit on that consumption-based pricing, because you and I have talked about this a lot. You've talked a lot about the risks that come with it. So can you speak a little more on that?
Yeah, so listen, as you alluded to, I mean, we could talk hours, and I know a lot of time they probably drive you nuts with how long we talk about all this. But what I would say is, I think it's the thing. Like I don't want to try to like be like, over exaggerative of this, right? If that's even a word. But it is now, is that it's not going to just be Salesforce. The world of AI is going to be consumption based. And there's a lot of reasons why. Look, I'll point you, look, we'll talk Salesforce. So another thing that came out recently, I know we don't want to use today's call for this, but I know we'll be talking about it more in the future here. Benioff himself got up there. There's some public, things that have come out and said, hey, look, 30 to 50% of our business is on AgentForce.
Yeah.
Parallel with layoffs that they're doing.
Yeah.
So the reason I bring that up, there's a whole host of things that come with that. I'm bringing up for this point. The market's not stupid. AI, the vision of it, is going to remove the need for people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they want to talk about augmenting, and I'm not saying like Doomsday Terminator's coming in, right? Like T2, which was the best Terminator movie. I would say that it's more like there's going to be some level of augmentation, which could reduce headcount. The market looks at it and goes, if you, Salesforce, and others sell your product based upon headcount, and your products allow them to lower the headcount, aren't we going to make less money? I.e., I'm an investor. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason consumption-based is going to be what everything's going to be. It's based upon actions. It's based upon results. It's how it's going to be metered. The other thing why this is so important, it's not just because Salesforce and others are going to convert to these models. It's because the model itself is faulty if you don't have it right day one.
Yeah.
If you don't have the definition, what is a conversation? What is an action for your business? Don't use generic. If you don't have it for your business, it's going to create a problem. If you don't have, obviously, the upfront cost, $2 is too high, 10 cents in action is too high, you got to negotiate it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you don't have volume discount structures, once the consumption meter starts going like this, the flywheel effect, which I always talk about, once that happens, you're going to owe them more money.
Yeah.
If you don't have that budgeted and the thing's actually doing okay, it's doing what it's supposed to do, right? Let's even put the rosy outcome if it's working.
Yeah.
You're going to have to cut checks to Salesforce and others that you weren't expecting to cut. And what are you going to do? You're going to walk in and be like, oh, we're turning it off. No, you're not.
Yeah.
What are you going to go? Rehire Sally and Bob and Smith? Like, that's not going to happen. Yeah. So you're effed. That's it. And if you don't have protections, if you don't have, like, you're gone. So with this model, part of the reason they're pushing this so hard, and I give them credit for the add-on component, I get it. It's because they also understand how quickly they can turn an ACV growth percentage into double digits.
Yeah.
It can happen like that. So if you don't do it right day one, it's going to be really, really difficult. It's going to be really, really difficult. The good news is there's leverage right now because they need you to start the wheel spinning.
Yeah.
But if you don't do this right, look, I know I've been doing this a long time. My team is strong. UpperEdge was strong. We'll always be able to help. But I've been doing this a long time. This point in time, consumption-based pricing, it's existed for a long time, but the fact that everything's moving that way and it's tied to what it's tied to, AI, you cannot not get this right. You cannot afford to mess this up.
And to your point, you have to get ahead of it. You need to be thinking about this now. You need to be doing everything now.
Even just the change management component to it.
Yeah.
Like the business, the people who are going to be that's going to be impacting. Like you have to get ahead of this.
Yeah.
How is it going to work for us? And then you go to Salesforce and say, here's how it can work for us. Show me a path that aligns with that.
Yeah.
Commercially, value, count, definition. Show me that. Because if you're just going in like, and again, it's publicly out there, like Pepsi went all in AgentForce. I'd love to see that contract. I would love to see what went on behind the scenes. And maybe it's great. Maybe it is. Maybe. Yeah. But like my theory would be it's probably not what it necessarily should be. And that's okay. Maybe they think they can correct it. But there's a lot of customers that don't have Pepsi's brand.
Yeah.
but still are $1 million per year Salesforce customers or 10 million, 5 million, whatever it is. You can't afford to do this wrong. You cannot afford it, period.
Yeah.
You just can't. And
Yeah.
Salesforce, by the way, knows that.
Mhm.
They know that.
And then, so AgentForce is one thing. Slack is also another hot button topic right now.
Yep.
So I believe they announced that Slack pricing was also going up and that there is a new addition. So can you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so 100%. It all ties together. So
Yeah.
Without going too deep into it, right? So they're looking at it as the hub, right? As Slack has become the hub. When Taylor was there and Stewart from Slack, the acquisition happens. They start integrating it. They talk about it as the hub. AgentForce AI makes all sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was only a matter of time until they folded it into an edition, which I just mentioned, the AgentForce 1. It's got Slack. The enterprise version of it's got a lot of the templates in it and things of that nature. It's souped up, prepared for AI world, to make it simple. But what they also did, again, classic, the Business Plus version, so pre-enterprise, this edition a lot of customers are sitting in, they uplifted that significantly, the price uplift.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I see you, Microsoft. I know what you're doing. I'm not stupid. So you're uplifting the price for that, and all of a sudden, oh, look how much closer it is to enterprise. And by the way, if you're thinking about enterprise now, why wouldn't you think about the AgentForce 1 edition of your Sales Clouds? Because not only do you get Slack Enterprise, you get Data Cloud, you get AgentForce, you get this. Why wouldn't you do this? And by the way, Sales Cloud's going up 6%, and Slack's going up. So think about it. It just makes perfect sense. Where can I get you to sign? Here, hold on, sign this.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous to speak that way. It feels like a car salesman, but I'm telling you, that's how they're doing this. Yeah. Now, what I will tell you, it's not our call, nor will it ever be. If maybe the enterprise version is the right fit for you. Maybe that's what you need. Awesome. Vet it. But again, arm yourself with the understanding as to like why they're doing these things.
Yeah.
Like, why are they doing this? And then what you do is you take that and you bring it to them. Before you put the PowerPoint presentation up that shows me the cost differential between a 6% uplift on Sales Cloud and Slack Business going up significantly, and you show me what the resulting price is going to be, and then you show me to the right a table that says, oh, for a little bit more, you can get stuff. Before you give me that canned PowerPoint slide.
Yeah.
What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go and show me what I'm using in Sales Cloud, what I'm using in Slack, how I'm using it, what I've been spending to date. What's that cost equation? I want you to, all that new extra stuff that's in Agent 1, which is where you want me to go, I want you to break down each piece to that, and I want you to put bullets next to it that shows why, for me, that's of value. And don't give me that average ROI that Salesforce is experiencing, because I don't believe that. Show me what you think it's going to be for me. And by the way, what I'd also like you to do, besides give me the right pricing, the right definitions, the right protections, the right investments, before you give me all that, what I'd also like you to do is, and you should have no problem with this, I'd like you to give me an out. So if it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and if I never turn on all those extra bells and whistles, I want to be able to cancel in term and get a refund. And then I'd also like to lower my annual spend without getting an uplift on what's left. Yeah. That shouldn't be a problem, right? Because you know I'm going to get the value from it, so why would I move off?
Yeah.
Like this stuff, which, I'm saying quickly, organized, orchestrated, putting in front of Salesforce, they will not know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Because their job is to convert you.
Yeah.
Tell them to stop, breathe, listen, do this, and maybe we can go where you want me to go.
Just completely throwing them off course, throwing them off their plan, because they're going to come with a plan. So 100%. You need to have one too.
100%. I mean, I know we're probably up against time, but listen, Dreamforce is right around the corner.
True.
You're going to start, these customers are going to get the meeting hey, love to get you in an all-day workshop to talk about AgentForce. And, hey, let's talk about Slack while we're at it. And let's talk. That's great. But I want to have a meeting about how I'm going to get more out of my field service unlimited edition product that I'm only using half of and I'm having issues with it. And that's great. And by the way, I also have MuleSoft and I have Marketing Cloud and I have Commerce Cloud. I have all these other things. And where are you on these things?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I know you want me to focus here, but I have all this other stuff too. So, like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
one approach to me, not approaching me the way you want to benefit off of me.
Well, thank you, Adam. This was a very interesting conversation, very insightful. And I know, like you said, Dreamforce is, we were just saying right before we started this call, it really is just around the corner. It's going to be here before we know it.
Yep.
So with that, people should definitely stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, because we're going to have a lot of very interesting content around Salesforce leading up to Dreamforce and after Dreamforce as well. So yeah, looking forward to those insights for sure.
Yeah, listen, I'm looking forward to it too, because honestly, I always say this, I like the fact that I think we have a vessel in which we can truly change.
Yeah.
And the results then impact these businesses we get to work
Yep.
for. And I love it. And I think the more we can get ahead of these things with customers, I just hope that they feel empowered through that, right?
Yeah.
Because these are, like I said, these are things that you're not going to be able to just ignore. It is going to land on your doorstep.
Definitely stay tuned. Stay up to date on the UpperEdge website. Reach out to us if you have questions, if you want to have a conversation about your specific Salesforce needs, because now is the time ahead of Dreamforce, ahead of these changes. And with that, I will chat with you in our next episode, Adam, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you for listening to Insights for IT Negotiations. This episode was hosted by John Belden and Kylie Chisholm and produced by Mike Brown. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss a new episode. For more information on IT sourcing and risk management strategies, visit UpperEdge.com and subscribe to our monthly UpperEdge newsletter. Thank you for listening.